This is the Belisar chronograph with Panda dial. It is a well-made watch from German watchmaker Union Glashütte. I'll provide you with a detailed hands-on review of this watch, here on Adventures with Time. This is the second watch from Union Glashütte I've reviewed. Previously, I had the Johann Durston edition Moonphase from their 1893 collection. I'll leave a link to that review where I also provide a brand history and overview at the end of this video. This is the Belisar chronograph with a Panda dial. Well, actually a reverse Panda dial. No, that's not correct either. Let's call it a winking reverse Panda dial since the 9 o'clock subdial is black like the main dial. As with many chronographs, this dial has a lot going on. However, as you'll hear throughout this video, I believe it to be a high-quality watch with sufficient value proposition to be worthy of your consideration. As I do with many of my watch reviews, I'll start off with a quick enumeration of the watch specifications. Speaking of which, please let me know if you like the set of information I provide in my watch reviews. I usually give you the watch specifications, brand history, brand watch collections, and my thoughts on the watch I'm reviewing. I do provide time codes so you can skip around. However, I would appreciate you watching the entire video, subscribing, ringing that bell icon, giving it a thumbs up, and telling your friends about this channel. So do weigh in. This Belisar chronograph is a 44mm stainless steel case that is 15mm thick and has a lug-to-lug of 52.5mm. The lug width is 21mm. That's right, I said 21mm, which is a bit odd but manageable. You probably don't have many, if any, 21mm straps in your holdings, so you'll have to buy some if you're not happy with the supplied leather strap. We have a sapphire front crystal that is slightly domed with a chamfered edge and anti-reflective coating on both sides. With push-pull crown and chronograph pushers, this watch has a water resistance of 100 meters, and on the supplied strap, this model weighs in at 125 grams. I did select a model with a display case back so you can get to see the automatic UNG 27.01 movement, which runs at 28,800 beats per hour and has 60 hours of power reserve. As configured with strap and dial color, this model retails for 2,370 euros, approximately 2,565 US dollars at the time of recording. The Belisar collection includes 10 watch groups, 5 of which are chronographs. This Belisar chronograph is available in 5 models, which differ only by color except for the green model, which includes a newer movement and has a pulsometer scale rather than the tachymeter. Oh, and the red model is a limited edition. I believe these Belisar chronographs were the top sellers in 2021 for Union Glashütte. The model I requested to borrow from the brand has the black dial, and I'll say right from the start that the first day I wore this watch out of my house, I got a compliment on it. However, before I get to the dial, let's talk about this case. The first thing one notices when this watch is in hand are the 4 screws on the side of the case. What the heck is their purpose? It's not to secure the case back, as that is accomplished by these 8 little screws. Their purpose is to affix the flanks of the Belisar multi-part case. This gives Union Glashütte flexibility in the case design, such as using gold flanks for two-tone Belisar models. On the model I have here, these screws secure the polished stainless steel plates to the brushed case. Along with the polished bezel, this provides us with an alternating brushed and polished finish as one surveys the case. The other feature to notice about the case is the treatment of the crown and chronograph pushers. All are black filled to allow easy viewing of the polished steel icons. The crown displays the Union Glashütte logo, and the pushers have these function indicators, a nice touch I haven't seen before on chronograph pushers. The dial has a base matte black finish with white printing, while the tachymeter scale, along with 2 of the subdials, have a cream color base with black printing. This provides, in my eye, an interesting and aesthetically pleasing dial. Looking closer at the dial, you'll see that each subdial has concentric circles imprinted in them. Then I notice that they are also slightly sunken into the dial, as is the tachymeter scale. In fact, the tachymeter scale appears to be sloped downward towards the edge of the dial. Now, I can't say for sure if this isn't a distortion caused by the crystal. You don't see any of this detail unless you look closely. However, now that I see it, I believe it does add dimension to the dial, which makes it pop ever so slightly. Someone at Union Glashütte certainly spent time designing this dial. While looking closely at the dial, you can see that all of the printing is sharp and clean, and the finish is consistent throughout the dial. Well done. Adding to the retro look of this dial is the font of the Arabic indices. I'd call it an Art Deco font. Just look at that 8. As attractive as the dial is, I do have a couple of issues. Although the hour and minute hands do have some light color lume paint on them and a polished finish, I found them not always easy to read against the black parts of the dial. The other feature I'm not sure about is the white background color of the date wheel down here at the 6 o'clock subdial. Yes, it makes it stand out a bit, but it seems a little mismatched with the cream color. What do you think of this color choice? Moving around to the case back, we can see the UNG 27.01 movement nicely framed by a polished curved rim which is secured by those 8 screws. I like this look as it gives the impression of a well-engineered design, whether or not it is. The movement itself is deep looking with several layers to it, nicely finished with striping on the rotor and barrel bridge, perlage work on the base plate, and blued screws. As I described in my review of the Johann Durston Edition Moonphase model, this Union Glashütte movement is completely assembled in Glashütte from individual components mostly sourced from ETA. This Belisar movement is based on the ETA A05, which is an enhancement from the famous Valjoux 7753. This is a movement worth one's time to examine, and you can see the chronograph cam move as you press the pushers. I've been getting an average accuracy of just plus 2 seconds per day. Not bad at all. Completing the look of this watch, I need to discuss this leather strap. When I first unboxed this watch, I questioned the strap color. This gray brushed or suede finish seems strange. However, I must say, soon after putting this watch on my wrist, I changed my mind and really liked the pairing. The butterfly buckle is a different story. Although it is extensively finished, I think I'd prefer a simple buckle with a prong. That would reduce the buckle thickness and simplify its operations. A nice feature of this strap is this little fabric loop that I believe is intended to keep the free keeper from sliding far from the fixed keeper. Overall, I believe this to be a very nicely designed and finished watch, one worthy of the Glashütte hallmark. It displays just the right amount of presence to attract one's attention without overdoing it. Although this is a watch on the larger side, on my 7 7/8 inch wrist, it feels and looks natural. As promised, here is a link to my review of the Union Glashütte 1893 Johann Durston Edition Moonphase model. And over here is my review of the Nomos Glashütte Tangomet, another fine German watch. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.